I'm going to explain the one eating strategy. There is no such thing as a diet, and that's why I named it the one eating strategy. There's only what you eat every day, and there's no food that's off limits or cheating. There's no cheating. You just either eat something or you don't, and the best way to manage food is you only eat when you're hungry and you stop when you're full, because you can eat more of it later. If you really like it, just put it aside and you can finish it later, so you don't have to give up anything. And if you eat frequently, you don't have to eat much each time, because you're going to eat again in 2 or 3 hours. It's okay to eat once a day. It's okay to eat 3 times a day or twice a day if that works for you. But here's what works for everyone. I can describe your food for every day, no matter who you are, your ethnicity, your financial situation, with 2 numbers. 1, total calories, and it's not actually necessary to total calories or add them. I'm just saying it's a mathematical truth about going to bed. You stopped eating for the day, there's some number that goes with what you ate. And then the second one, which is new because I just established it, is I call it, for a generic term, it's the food gram ratio. Because from observing diets and eating food, I arrived at the fact, and also especially the zone diet in particular, the mathematics for the zone, they selected 40% calories of carbs with 30% each of protein and fat. I converted that to grams, and I see that it adds up to 2, that I can create a ratio with 2 grams. So I came out with this, an easy way to read labels is you just add the protein to the fat, whatever the numbers are on the label, or you're on your smartphone and you're looking at Livestrong or Spark People or Calorie Count. I mean, there's food labeling everywhere. You can look up everything. It's free to everyone. So you add the grams of protein to the grams of fat. It's on the labeling. They already chose to label food that way. And you compare that total to the carbohydrate grams. If the carbs are more than the total of protein and fat, your food gram factor or ratio is below 1, because carbs goes on the bottom. It's the denominator. You divide protein and fat by carbs. So if your food has more carbs in it than protein and fat, it's going to be below 1. It's going to be 85, 75. And if you're eating more protein and fat than carbs, then it's 1 or greater. So 1 is the zone, and that's 30, 30, 40, where 40 is the percent of carbohydrates in calories. So I'm using a system where we read the grams, and let's say you just go crazy and you want to eat pure carbs. So you're eating something that scores a 0.3, because it's just all carbs. So the next time you eat, or sometime later that day, you would eat something, let's say I ate 300 calories and it was a 0.3. It was pure carbs, like barely any fat or protein. I would just later eat 300 calories that was a 1.6. And then the 2 different meals or things I ate, they would average to a 1. So the goal of eating is to get as close to 1 as possible. And some people will like their body composition and energy level living at an average 8.85. Like my boss, he's really muscular, he's fit, he lifts a lot of weights, probably burns off food if he turns his head. So he could live probably eating at a 0.85, 85%. So extra carbs all day long. And then someone who wants to be shredded and they're just getting into training, they just have to hit that 1.4 to go from where they are to where they want to be. But after they're there, then they can hold steady at a 115%. So Atkins is 1.6, the zone is 1, and it's kind of tongue-in-cheek. I call it the weight gain diet, or the American obesity diet is a 0.3. So if you're eating in that range, less than 1, approaching 0.3, you're eating intentionally to pack on more and more fat consistently to support fat. So there's no diet, there's just what you eat. And there's no way for you to eat food without my being able to attach a food gram factor to it. And so I'm just introducing you to like the simplest way to understand food and how it affects you. You don't have to look, you don't have to care, but if you want to, there's not a simpler system. Just start to understand the label, and it's up to you. You want to live your life averaging a 0.65 food gram ratio every day, and you like your clothes and your health is good, your blood labs come back, go for it. But if you want a simple system where you can eat whatever foods you have and learn when and how much, and if you eat this and you need to eat that next, so they average, this works great.